Good morning, third graders. Today we're going to be talking about elapsed time. Now, we talked a little bit about elapsed time last week, and last week you guys used an actual analog clock to help you figure out how much time went by, how much time elapsed. Now, this week we're going to be using that same skill, but we're going to apply a different strategy. We are going to try to solve elapsed time problems using a number line. Now, you did a little bit of this last year, and I talked to some of you, and you did a strategy that looked like this. You had mountains and hills, and the mountains represented how many hours that you were talking about and how many hours went by, and you had hills that represented how many minutes went by. And that's a great strategy that your teachers taught you, and that's something that we're going to continue to use the same but a little bit different this year. Now, here is a timeline that you could create, or a number line. So when you are finding elapsed time problems, you are going to have a start time, and you're going to have an end time, and you're going to figure out how much time elapsed. Sometimes you'll know your start time and an elapsed time, and you have to figure out the end time. Other times, you're going to know the end time and the elapsed time, and you're going to have to figure out when the start time was. So it's your job to be a math detective and find out all these different ways to find your time. Now, I'm going to zoom in for a second here, because if this is a little bit difficult for you and you want to start with a number line or a timeline that I have, that you can absolutely print that out. So I'm going to get a little bit closer here and show you what this looks like. So here I have a timeline, number line, and you can see that it has all the PMs. Because what this is taking PM hours, and it is showing you that you have different hours, and then in between the hours you have 15, 30, and 45-minute increments, which are also known as our benchmark times. And we're going to be talking a little bit about this later in the video. So this could definitely help you if you need extra assistance on figuring out how to make your number lines. Now, another cool thing that I have for you guys, if you want to print it out, is you cut it up and you can make this awesome timeline number line of your day. So this is 24 hours in a day. This is your entire day. Think about how much you do. You eat and you sleep and you wake up and you go to school or do e-learning, you hang out with your friends, you go to sports, you play music, whatever you do, this is your 24 hours in a day. And I had no idea what that looked like and how long that lasted. So this is a great resource for you to use if you would like to either talk about your day or practice elapsed time to figure out what your day looks like. So let's get back in action. I'll go back to the other camera now. And we can talk about creating these elapsed time timelines. So what these problems look like is I told you that they could give you a start time. Now let's say that our start time is 8:05 p.m. And we know that our start time is 8:05, and let's say our end time is 10:10 p.m. Now your job is to create this timeline. So if you wanted to, you could use this to help you, and you could start off at 8:05 and mark that here, and then find it out. Or you're not always going to have this with you. So if you want to try to make your own number line, that would be awesome. So we know that our start time is 8:05 p.m. So I'm going to mark that right here. That is when we start. Just like in a race, this is our starting point. So it is 8:05. And we know our end time. We have finished the race. We are done at 10:10. So let's figure out how much time has elapsed. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to be talking about something called benchmark times, and it's also a slide in the PowerPoints or in the Google slides that I give you. And a benchmark time is a time that you can refer to make things easy. So if you were on the street and you ask someone what time it is, would they tell you, it is 8:57? No, they would probably round to the closest time. They would probably say it's almost 9 o'clock. So that's what benchmark times are. They're getting you close to an easy time to work with. For example, if I'm at 8:05, I can either go straight an hour and see if that works, or I can find myself a benchmark time. But I see here that I have to get to 10:10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get closest to 10:10 without going over. And I can do that by making a mountain or just using some arrows. So I'm going to go like this, and I know that I can go 1 hour to 9:05. Awesome. So I know that this is 1 hour, and I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. Now, let's see. Can I go another hour to get to 10:10? I can, because 9:05 plus another hour gets me to 10:05. So now that I'm at 10:05 and I need to get to 10:10, I know that that's 5 minutes. So now my job is to add that time together. So 1 hour plus 1 hour is 2 hours, plus 5 minutes is 2 hours and 5 minutes. Now, let's say that they tell me a start time and they tell me an elapsed time. So let's say that we know that lunchtime starts at 11:45. And I know that lunch is, let's say it's 35 minutes long. It's not, but let's pretend it is. I know my start time, so I'm going to mark that here. Remember, that's where you start your race. That's what we're talking about. We're going to start here, so it's at the beginning. And I know that the time elapsed is 35 minutes. So can we go an hour? No, we can't. But what I am going to do is I'm going to use that benchmark time that we talked about, because 35 minutes might be a little bit difficult for me. So I'm going to get to the nearest hour. I'm going to go to the benchmark time. I'm going to go to 12 o'clock. Because that's really easy to work with. 12 o'clock and, things that end in o'clock and things that end in 30 are your benchmark times. They're really easy to work with. They're really easy to find the next time. So if I go from 11:45 to 12 o'clock, I know that's 15 minutes. And I know that pretty quickly because I can picture on the clock, I know it's broken up into quarters. And I know that the 11:45, the 45 would be pointing this way, and the 12 o'clock would be, the clock would be straight up and down. So that's my 15 minutes has gone by. Now, I need to do 35 minutes, and I'm at 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go another 15 minutes. Because I'm at my easy clock, I can easily add 15 minutes to that. So I know that I'm at 12:15. So we so far have used 30 minutes. 15 minutes plus 15 minutes is 30 minutes. But I need to get to 35 minutes. So I'm going to go 5 more minutes. And let's see, 12:15 plus 5 more minutes would get me to 12:20. So that means lunch would end at 12:20. That would be our end time. Let's look at the last type of problem you might see. And another problem you might see is we know our end time. And we know the elapsed time. So let's say a problem like this would be, okay, I finished my homework at 4:15. And I know that it took me an hour and 10 minutes. 1 hour, 10 minutes to do my homework. So what time did I start my homework? Well, let's see. If I ended my homework at 4:15, now I need to figure out the start time. I don't know when I started my homework. That's the question mark. So this is a little bit harder because we have to work backwards. But we're going to use the exact same strategy. Let's go back an hour because I know that's the first thing I can do. I'm going to go back 1 hour, and that gets me to 3:15 because 4:15 minus an hour is 3:15. 1 hour. Now I know that I need to go back 10 minutes. So 3:15 minus 10 minutes, so 15 minutes minus 10 minutes, so 15 minus 10, that is 3:05. 10 minutes. So let's see, let's make sure this is right. Let's make sure I started my homework at 3:05. So 1 hour went by, we have that, and then 10 minutes, 1 hour and 10 minutes. That gets us to the start time of 3:05. So when you are working on your number lines today, remember, get to your benchmark fractions. I'm so used to teaching fractions. Get to your benchmark time. Get to those times that end in a clock and 30 because those are really easy to work with and really easy to find your time. Next, always try to work on your hours and work on your minutes. And so see first, can I get to the next hour? Then can you get to the next 30 minutes? Can you get to the next 15 minutes? And there's an awesome slide that I have for you guys in there that goes through each step. So that if you are stuck, you can print it off or you can just keep referring back to that slide if you need help. Please let me know how you're doing. I'm really proud of you guys and keep up the good work with Elapsed time. Bye.